So today we are going to be talking even more about building and constructing your offer and what that's actually going to look like as you put your offer together. Because the most important part is to have an offer that literally separates you. And so when we talk about separation, one of the things and one of the standpoints that I want you guys to understand from that is that an offer as we understand an offer, what an offer is, we want to make sure that what it is that we do, what it is that we provide, can't be found anywhere else. And the only way that we can do that is by creating something that is so unique, something that is so special, something that is so spectacular, something that's so designed by us to where we don't have any competition. Because of the fact that every single person that exists on this earth has a unique series of life events that causes for them to be whomever it is that they are. And so even with all of us, that's the same thing is the case. So with that, we have to understand that with all of the things that have happened either to us, with us, things that we've learned on our journey, all of those things have made us who it is that we are. And so therefore, because every person that exists has unique experiences, even people that, again, like we talked about last week, that are from the same household, have unique experiences even of one another. Everybody has something unique that they can offer to the world. Everybody does. Now, the reality of what we talked about last week as well, producer versus consumer, that reality is true as well. So if a person doesn't snap out of being a consumer and intentionally become a producer, what will happen is that person will have these things inside of them and they will never release them. Those things will never be released. And so since we know that, and since we know that it's important and it's imperative that we release the things that are inside of us. We release the things that we have on the inside, that we get to work to do those things and to draw those things out and to draw out those experiences that we have had up to this point, so that people can benefit from the area of expertise that we have. Again, now for these offers, when you're asking someone for money, you are going to have to be the expert. It's going to be absolutely imperative that you are the expert. So if this is if whatever it is you're thinking about doing, so whether you're the expert or whether you have the product or the service or whatever the case may be, whatever your thing is, you need to be proficient and good and great at it. So if that's not the case, that's not a problem. That's not a deal breaker. It's not a deal breaker if you don't have the thing yet, but you have the desire. So you have the desire for it, but you don't have the thing yet. It's perfectly fine. What you're going to want to do again, and this creating an offer part is going to be still so and super critical to you and for you, is you're going to want to create an offer that you believe that you can someday fulfill on. So you're going to want to create something that you believe that you can fulfill on. And so in seeking to create something that you believe that you can fulfill on, literally what you're doing is you're building out the thing and then taking the thing to persons who would want or who would benefit from the thing. So whatever the thing is, you want to build that out first. So this is for the person who doesn't have the expertise, the person who doesn't know exactly what it is that they want to offer just yet. You're going to think through and you're going to put together the pieces of what end result, what are you getting a person? Where are you taking them? Okay. So that's one of the things that you're going to want to be absolutely clear about is where are you taking people? Because if you're clear about where it is that you're taking people, you can then map out the journey by reverse engineering. So, hey, I am fill in the blank. Who are you? I get people to whatever this thing is and whatever it is that you're good at, that's the result that you give people. Now, what you're going to want to do is reverse engineer. You're going to work people backwards and say, okay, in order for me to get this result to people, what are the steps that are required if a person doesn't know anything about this thing that I can do and get for them? What are the necessary steps and the pieces that need to be put together in order for this bridge to exist? Me getting people from here to here safely, quickly, profitably. Okay. So that's what we're looking at, and that's what we're doing when we're creating offers and when we're crafting offers. So one of the things that we need to make sure that we understand fully and completely is that if you do not do the thing and if you have not done the thing, you have to give the thing away for free. So before, when I talked about, hey, if you it does is not necessarily a deal breaker, it could be, but it doesn't have to be a deal breaker if you haven't ever done the thing. What you would need to do though is you would need to go and do the thing for free. So go do the thing for free, get results, help people for free, get from here to here. Those people that you have now built a bridge for and helped them to cross over, those are going to now be your reviews and your testimonials. So it was free for them, but whenever you sign somebody up for free, what you're going to say is, what you're going to tell them is, you're going to say, hey, in exchange for me helping you throughout however many weeks it is that it takes for you to get people whatever result it is that you get for them, if you're in the coaching space, if you're not in the coaching space, hey, if you're in the product space or in this in a different type of service space, then we can kind of get into those as well. But it just depends on what it is that you're looking to do. Whatever it is that you're looking to do, if you don't have the experience yet, again, that is not necessarily a deal breaker, but you are going to have to help people to get that end result that you say that you can get people for free. Why is this so important? Because every single thing that we're doing is ethical. Every single thing that we're doing is ethical. We cannot promise people results that we can't fork over, that we can't deliver. We can't do it. That would be unethical for us to tell people that we can get them a certain result and then we haven't gotten that result ourselves, or we can't do that thing ourselves, or we don't know about that thing ourselves, or whatever the case may be. Because that's how the whole coaching space, consulting space, small business owner space, that's how everything gets messed up. It gets messed up because people have an experience with a person who can actually do what they say that they can do. And then now everything is a scam. And everything is a scam because of the fact that this person that they dealt with wasn't truthful, wasn't honest, wasn't ethical. That's why when I came up with the branding, I named my company Ethical Online Money, because every single thing that happens, every single thing that is done is ethical. All the money being made is ethically made. You don't have to not show your face. Because again, I talked to you guys about before, there are so many people advertising businesses of not showing your face, but it's because what they're doing is sketchy. I give you guys an example. There's a guy who actually is, I think he's an incredible businessman as far as his level of business acumen, his business understanding, understanding how businesses work, how to build a business up from the ground up, from scratch. But one of the things that he did is he sold one of his businesses. So he sold one of his businesses. The person that he sold the business to isn't fulfilling in the same way that he fulfilled. So now people who did business with him before, they're now coming to him saying, hey, like I wrote out to support, I asked you about this, I reached out to you about this, how come I didn't hear anything back from you? Or how come I didn't get an interaction with you about this? Or, and then he's having to communicate to people, hey, I sold that company, I don't own that company anymore. What happens is now what he's doing is he's getting more into creating companies like that, because he wants to sell companies, because he has all the processes, all the SOPs. So he wants to just keep creating companies from scratch, selling them, create it from scratch, sell it, create it from scratch, sell it, create it from scratch, sell it. So now what he's doing is he's saying, okay, I don't want to attach my face to it, because whenever I attach my face to it, if I sell it later on, when they see that name, they're going to still attach that name to me. And so I don't want that name to be attached to me anymore. So I don't want, as far as the companies that I'm selling, to still be attached to me. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create those companies, except I'm going to create them without my face, without my presence, without me, without any being tied to me. Because like I said, he is an incredible business owner. Like he has a great mind. He has an incredible mind. He can do these things very quickly, very fast. He has some AI processes that he's now tied into these things to be able to get those things done a whole lot more quickly. And so with that, now what he's able to do is he's able to create these businesses very quickly, and then be able to back out of those companies. And so that's what it is that he has as it pertains to kind of the using your face versus not using your face. When you use your face, you're telling people that I stand by what it is that I'm saying. I stand by what it is that I'm doing. And so now what that means though later on is that people will always associate it with you, which is not a bad thing, especially if you don't plan on creating businesses and selling them, creating businesses and selling them, because that is also very lucrative as well. So now, say for example, you create a business that makes and nets maybe 100K per year, and you created that business. It took you maybe 2 weeks to build that business from scratch, and then it has the ability or the forward projections of netting each month or each year over 6 figures each year. Now you can sell that business for $250,000, or you can sell that business for even more, depending on the projections of it. So that's just kind of give you guys a taste of and an understanding of why would people do it. Well, people do it because of the fact that you can make a lot of money off of it, off of spending like 2 to 3 weeks, especially with AI now. Or if you aren't as savvy with AI, it'll take you maybe a month to do, maybe 2 months to do. You build this business out and then you sell it. You build this business out and then you sell it. And so there's so many ways to do it. And so with that, okay, great question. So what if you are the story, your experience, your testimony and success? So yes, you can be the story. The thing is, you can be the story, you being the story, and you should always, so if you are in the coaching space or if you are in the consulting space, you should always be the first story. You should always be the first story. So great question. But you are the one who should always be the story. If you're telling somebody else about something that can happen and that can change in their lives, a transformation that can occur, you should always be that story first. That's the prerequisite. Do not pass gold, do not collect 200 if we do not have that part first. So that part is the absolute, like that's absolutely critical. You have to have that. And then if that is the case, if we've lived it, if we know it, if it's true, if it's real, now what we're able to do is see who we can get to commit to learning from us, the person who has actually experienced or done whatever the thing or things are. Okay, so now we're finding people who want what it is that we're able to do and what it is that we're able to produce. And so now we can't necessarily say that we can produce it yet, because we don't have any testimonials from people of doing it for them and doing it for someone that's not us. Because sometimes, and this is what happens a lot of times with the gurus, not all of them are scammers. But with the gurus, what happens is they're a certain type of person. Maybe they have a certain type of work ethic. Maybe they have a certain type of hustle or die mentality. Maybe they're at the bottom of their rope. Maybe they were like $500,000 in debt, whatever the case may be. And they found the wherewithal in themselves to create something, to do something. And then now they're taking what they found, and they don't have all the processes together. They have everything together. They haven't organized this and sorted it and come up with SOPs and all those types of things. But now they want to hurry up and quickly tell someone else about it. And again, this doesn't necessarily make them bad people or anything like that. But what ends up happening is that there end up being so many gaps. There's so many gaps. And so people now that they're trying to bring through their program that they created off of their experience are saying, hold on, but what about, but how do you? And then they advertised and they made it too big. They scaled too quickly. So now they have all these people coming to them, asking them the same types of questions because they didn't slowly release it. They didn't slowly get it out to the public. They didn't test it with people first to make sure that everything was super solid and super sound and answered all those questions, so that if a person went through, if we call it lesson 1, and they went all the way to lesson 25, they would have a full understanding of how to do the thing, and they would have homework assignments and they'd be getting the thing done. That's how it's supposed to be built. That's how it's supposed to be constructed. But if you don't do it in that way, then what you end up having is you're like, oh, well, I did it. And no, it's a scam. It's a scam. I can show y'all receipts. No, I really did it. Like, it's right here. Like, I really did it. Like, the things that I'm telling y'all, I really did them. I really do them. I'm still doing them. Oh, but it's a scam. Oh, why does it seem like a scam? It seems like a scam because of the fact that the person has never walked anybody else through it, that thinks differently than them, that processes differently than them, that understands differently than them. All those things matter. All those things matter. It is super important. It is very critical to understand that it matters if, like, kind of whatever your thing is, that you walk somebody through it, even if it's a family member of yours. Because when I first started, I was telling all of my family members about trading. So this was about like 9 years ago. I was telling all my family members about trading. And I'm just like, oh man, y'all gotta do this, y'all gotta do. And I'm like, okay, got it. So let me start walking my family members through this, like as far as because they would have extra questions. So I'm now walking my family members through trading, giving it, making videos and stuff for them, like walking them through different things. So now I didn't even understand at the time what I was doing. At the time, what I was doing is I was building a business on accident, because now all of that content that I'm recording, now all those things that I'm releasing, because I have people in my life that I love and I want them to have access to the same things that I now have access to because of the fact that I now know what it is that I'm doing. I want to share that with them. Now they're my case studies. Now they're my testimonials because of the fact that I'm sharing freely all of these things with them because I really want them to get it. So when you think about, okay, how do I get my first testimonials? How do I get my first reviews? Think about people that you really want them to get or to understand what it is that you can communicate. Because if you understand people from that level are, and you have people that, if you would have kind of fall into that category, what you're able to do is you're able to freely give to them because of the fact that you really want them to get it. Whereas a stranger on the street, yeah, if they get it, if they don't, I don't know if they're going to work hard at it. I don't know if they're going to pay attention. I don't know if they're going to show up to classes. I don't know if they're going to do the homework. I don't know if they're going to take it seriously. I don't know, because this is a stranger on the street. So you may not want to do your testimonials or reviews with a stranger on the street, but somebody that you have a relationship with. Now, because of the relationship that you guys have, they're more prone sometimes to take you more seriously. Now, of course, we do know that familiarity breeds contempt. And so you do have this kind of whole idea of like, hey, the more people see you, or the more they kind of hear about what it is you're doing or what it is you're seeking to build and do and create, then the less likely they are to actually pay attention to what it is you're doing. I do understand that. But the other side of that is that now you get an opportunity to teach people and think through the ways that other people that are not you think through it, which is going to be beneficial for you later on when you're putting all of this together, when you're constructing all of this. Because even what we're talking about today, is we're talking about literally creating and crafting and putting together your offer and what is going to be in your offer and what is going to be a part of your offer. You have to know those components. Like, what will people who are looking to get what it is that you have, who are looking to learn from you, what do they want? Like, what are all the pieces? What are all the components that they want? And when we construct this and when you guys build this out, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be creating the offer itself, but then you're also going to be creating bonuses that they get. Now, one of the ways that I will go about bonuses is I will go about bonuses and looking at bonuses and saying, okay, above and beyond what it is that I'm offering and what it is that I'm giving to them, what can be put together and what can be designed from the standpoint and from the place of enhancing, but also being even better than the thing. So I can help people with this, or I can get people this result, or I can do this in 90 days, or I can do this in 8 weeks time, right? Whatever the case may be of what it is that you do and the thing that the end result they're looking for. The bonuses should be real bonuses. You know, like sometimes bonuses are like just thrown on. It's kind of like a catch-all, and it doesn't really do anything or doesn't really mean anything. It's just like, oh, just some bonuses. The bonuses should so enhance the offer that the bonuses should be seen as even more valuable than the offer itself. The bonuses should be so big in magnitude that the person looking at the offer and the bonuses is like, oh man, these bonuses seem like they could be the offer because of how great the bonuses are. So don't look at the bonuses as like an appendix, like you just adding it on to the end of the real offer, like so that there's no thought put in the bonuses that you're offering along with the offer. Your offer, the bonuses to your offer should be equal in weight. And if I say one that weighs more, I should say that the bonuses should weigh even more than the offer itself. Because again, the offer itself is you getting people to whatever the thing is that they want and that they desire. And so how would I go about sharing testimonials of plans that I create for clients, even though the clients didn't follow through, but the plans demonstrate the desired outcomes if followed? So I would say, if that were the case, if I had clients that I was working with for free, that I would just go and then have to find another client that I could work with for free and actually get the result so that I could have a testimonial, so that I could have somebody to say, hey, this person is not me. And this person, in not being me, they were able to do this as well. And this is how I know that this thing it works. I know that it's real. And one of the things too that could be a benefit that reminds me of even with the class last week is that you could talk to that person and find out from them why didn't they finish, because there could be some incentive, there could be some sort of gamification that you could come up with that would entice people and enhance people's retention, that would enhance them to want to continue in whatever the program is. Because again, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for consistency. You're looking for consistent people. You're looking to build something that's real, something that's lasting. And the only way that you can do that is by being ethical with it, because you can put your name to it and then keep your name on it. Starting off putting your name on it, but you don't have any results, you're not going to want to keep your name on it because of the fact that, man, I can't talk about results that I'm actually getting for people. Okay. So that's going to be absolutely critical for you to have someone, at least one person that you can say, I have gotten this person results. So say, for example, for me, I was doing boot camps years ago, a couple years ago. And with the boot camp that I was doing a couple years ago, I was saying, I guarantee anybody that goes through my program, I will make you money during the boot camp. That was my guarantee. If I can't make you money and you actually do what it is I'm telling you to do, and you actually place a trade and you don't make money on that trade, then you get a refund. No questions asked. I ended up changing that to, no, you get to stick with me and stay with me until you make money. Because I had people that didn't try and then they wouldn't try and never placed any trade, and because that was a caveat. And then I asked them to show me their account, but then people would just go to their banks and stuff. So I'm like, okay, got it. So once I realized, okay, there are people that are in the financial space and people that are in the financial world that will try to see what they can get for free and then never want to pay for it, which is perfectly fine because that exists across all industries. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create it to where it's not a money back. It's I'll work with you until you do, which is different. So I guarantee my work because I know what it is that I do, and I am willing to continue to work with you until it works for you. And you can continue to be a part until it works for you. Now, for me, the caveats that I needed for my trading business is the fact that for people, I need them to actually be placing trades. I need them to actually be showing up to my coaching calls. If you're not showing up to my coaching calls, you're not actually placing trades, I can't help you. Like, it's not on me anymore because I'm doing all the things that I need to do to make sure and ensure your success. But if you aren't serious about your success, and again, people always will have excuses for things as to why they're not doing things and why they're not being what it is that they need to be in order to see the result that they want to see. But again, that's something that's out of our control. So how would I go about the sharing of testimonials plans, even though the clients didn't follow through? So that's how I would go about that. That's exactly how I would go about that. Now, could that be considered a bonus? Now, that could be considered a bonus, but it's more so considered a guarantee. So especially when you're new, you're going to want to have some sort of a guarantee because people may have the know and the like that are building for you, but they don't have the trust yet. So they know and they like you, but they don't trust you yet. So you got to give them a bone, like as far as trust is concerned. So now, as it pertains to trust, throw them a bone. The bone that you're throwing them is a guarantee. So in whatever way you want to guarantee yourself and whatever way you want to guarantee your work, say, for example, if you have a product and your product is that you give people that you have like these food products that can help people with their health, and it can help them lose weight. It can help them to be even more motivated to make it to the gym, whatever the case may be. So you have these products, and this is what your products do. So now with this being what your products have the capability of doing, you now have the ability to say, hey, this is a testimonial from a person who uses my products on a regular basis, who consistently does it. And as they consistently do it, these are the results that they've experienced. And of course, you have to put your caveats on there of course, these results are not typical. I cannot say that any of these things will happen for you because I can't say that you'll actually drink the juices or eat the foods that I'm producing on a regular, consistent basis in order to be able to see the results that this person did. So you got to put your disclaimers on there. And of course, if you are looking for what disclaimers you need for whatever your offer is, ChatGPT would actually be really good for that. You can Google it as well. But just looking up and having a disclaimer put in place on whatever it is that you do so that people understand that the work has to be done. One of the things that I do is I always emphasize that you have to do the work. Since I'm a coach, I'm a consultant, you have to do the work. If you don't do the work, nothing works. But if you do the work, it works. And so it's so crazy to me, like all the parallels as far as from what it is that we do as like entrepreneurs and doing the work and scripture, because of the fact that, again, in the same way that faith without works is dead, in the same way a business owner who says, oh, I want my business to do this, I want my business to be this, but they don't do the things necessary to get it or to have it, then it's like, do you really want it? Do you really believe? And so that's why, for me, one of the disclaimers that I add on mine is you must do the work. Like, nothing works unless you do. Like, if you don't do the work, nothing will ever work, and everything will always be a scam because whomever the person is doesn't want to do the work. And so it's always and again, now what I'm talking about is kind of like that interchange between victim and victor. Like, so if you have a victim mentality, somebody is always going to be doing something to you. Always. Somebody is always going to be doing something to you if you have a victim mentality. It's always going to be someone else. It's going to be someone outside. It's going to be someone who did this thing, someone who said this thing, someone who said this thing this particular type of way. It's always going to be something or somewhere else that you can place the blame. As a business owner, you can't place blame anywhere. One of the most helpful quotes that I have from a business friend of mine that I've learned is to take full responsibility for everything. And we talked about one of the phrases that I learned from this guy, and that phrase we talked about last week was that talk doesn't cook rice. Talk don't cook rice, because talk literally does not cook rice. It don't matter how much you talk to that rice. It don't matter how much you yell at that rice. It don't matter how much you at the top of your lungs, like you scream. That rice will not cook unless you cook that rice. It's the same thing that's true for life, is that nothing works unless you do. Unless you're willing to put in the work in order to get the results that you want to see, nothing will ever work. So again, like, I get it. There are a lot of people out here that are running scams. There are a lot of people out here that are disingenuous, that are dishonest, that are immoral. I get it. I agree 100%. Unethical. I get it. But the other side of that is, what about the people that aren't? What about the people that are really doing this for real and that are really helping people? And then you go through one of their programs and you still don't have success. So now, when that's the case, we got to stop looking, and we got to not look at like outwardly, but we got to look inwardly and say, okay, do I really want this? And if I do really want this, what am I willing to do in order to make this happen, in order to make this a reality? Because it does require that level of commitment, because of the fact that whenever we're committed to a particular process, whenever we're committed to something, we're going to end up making sacrifices for it. And one of the things that I've understood is, as a Christian, that every Christian's responsibility is to suffer. Every Christian's responsibility is to suffer. Now, this is the beautiful thing about it. You have rich Christians that suffer in one way, and you have poor Christians that suffer in a different way. I've existed as a poor Christian before. So I know what the suffering is like on the poor Christian side, when you're looking to other Christians to help meet needs, and you get together as a Christian family, a Christian community, you're praying for people, and you're, oh Lord, meet the need for this person, or you're asking people to get together to meet a need. The rich Christian suffers as well, because with the rich Christian, the rich Christian can live high on a hog if the rich Christian wants to. But the rich Christian chooses the lower path, the suffering path, and identifying with his brothers and sisters, with identifying with her brothers and sisters. So now the rich Christian who could live high on a hog abases themselves that they may be able to meet needs in the body. We all need each other. Think about it. Early church Christians, what did they have? They had some very wealthy people that had these extravagant homes. They meet inside these individuals' homes for their church services, if you will, their worship services. Sometimes they were widowed women who would have these extravagant homes. And so with that, one of the things that we have is we have an opportunity. We have an opportunity to capitalize on, to make sure that we are a part of what's going on and what's taking place within the body by making sure that we're attached. So if you're a poor Christian, don't be ashamed to say your need. And if you're a rich Christian, you have a responsibility and obligation to meet the need. So why do I say that? Because once you get to the status of rich, or once you get to the status of upper class, that's not a release to just live and do and be whoever it is and live however it is you want to live. That's a release to now share in the sufferings of Christians who have less, which is why, again, for me, when I do this and when I teach this, I teach it from this standpoint and from this way, because what we have is we have Christians who get rich off of other Christians. And then now, like literally, the Christians who don't have it are throwing money at Christians who already have it. And those Christians who already have it, their lifestyle just continues to go up. It just continues to go up. It's not supposed to be that way. So first of all, we're not supposed to be taking money from less fortunate Christians or Christians who don't have it like that. Secondly, we're not supposed to be like selling one another, which is a whole nother topic. Thirdly, we're not supposed to be out for living as high as we possibly can. That shouldn't be the goal. Now, that doesn't mean that you need to ride around in a beater. It doesn't mean that your house needs to be in shambles. It doesn't mean that you can't get nice things and have nice things, because you can have those things. It's not what we're talking about. What I'm explaining is that don't make the goal riches so that you can look down because you're up and you're exalted now. I've seen it happen time and time and time and time and time and time again. Don't let that be your goal, because if that is your goal, that's exactly what's going to happen. You're going to become what you wanted, and then your posture towards others changes. You're now looking down at people. James literally tells us to not have favorites, and that's exactly what ends up happening. We end up having favorites within the body because of the fact that of socioeconomically. People shouldn't be able to see that you're rich. The rich people that I hang with, you can't tell. You can't tell. Millionaires that have holy pants, like not the kind that you buy holes in, but the kind that come because they've had the pants so long. Worn out collar neck shirts because they don't care. The thing that I would hate is to teach what I'm teaching and then set someone up for failure. Because I know that what I'm doing works. I know that it's a straightforward process. I know that anybody can get there who's willing to actually do the work. I don't want nobody to get there and lose their soul. I don't want nobody to get there and then be like, yeah, man, yeah, the Lord, you have been good to me. And then now it's like the same zeal, fervor, passion for him ain't there no more, because the person is now rich. The person now can, all those things that they were dreaming of when they're over here, they now can attain and acquire all those things. So now it's like, yeah. If they really want it, then they'll just get up and they'll just go get it and do it for themselves. If they really want it, and now it's a condescending tone when looking down at other brothers and sisters. And so I don't know where that came from. It came from, I do know where it came from now. It came from a place of seeing this to this and how posture can change towards other believers. Always keep posture as in, even though I have, we're all still on the same level playing field. Even though I have, I'm not up there, I'm here. We're all the same. Nobody's better than anybody else. Money doesn't matter. We're all the same. This Christian suffers because they have to express needs that they have. This Christian suffers because they can't live with all of their freedom, their monetary freedoms that they would have if they weren't a Christian. If they were a Christian, yeah, do whatever you want with your money. You could blow it. You can take all the trips that your heart's desire. You could be on a road. You could you could be on a plane every week if you want to, different location. If you want a Christian, but there's a different level of expectation that the Lord has for us as a body, as Christians, and it's super important for us to know that. Yeah, I tell people that too much talking out. I thinking you get nowhere at some point. You just got to do it. Exactly. You got to just do it. You literally have to just do it. Like you can't. This is one of those things where you can't just be on the sideline contemplating it, which is why every single time when I come to you guys on Saturdays, I'm always talking about, okay, what are you going to do? Like, this is what we're doing. What we're doing now is we are literally we're crafting the offer. We're thinking about the offer from all standpoints. Okay, a person who comes to me from this standpoint, what is it that they're looking for? A person who comes to me from this standpoint, what are they looking for? And my ideal avatar, what needs am I meeting for them? And what ways will I be able to show up for them that they need me to show up for them? All those things, we're thinking through those things because we want to detail those things, outline those things so that the offer that we come up with and the bonuses that we come up with make sense for this person to say, what? All of that for this? All of that for this? If people aren't saying all of that for this with the offer, it's not a good offer. People should be blown away with all that they get for what it is that you're charging them for getting it. People should be blown away. Which another guy that I really like, his name is Alex Hormozi. And so with him, he said the way that he describes it and talks about it is that it should be a no-brainer offer. Like literally, people would feel the way that he describes it, he says that people should feel stupid saying no. Like they should literally feel foolish when they say no to you and what is you're offering, because it's just like, what, all of that for this? All of that for this? And if you can't look at your offer or what is you're offering and say all of that for this, it's not a good offer yet. And that's not a problem because we can continue to make tweaks to it. We can continue to make changes to it. We continue to make adjustments to it to make it a no-brainer offer. Okay. And so, yeah, so you got to just do it. You learn along the way, but you got to hop in. Don't take your foot and like, oh, the water cold, and kind of dip your toe in like, oh, like it's cold. Let's hop in. Let's hop in. That's easier said than done for me because when it comes to pools, I can't just hop in the pool. It's actually easier for me to get into a cold tub than it is for me to get into a cold pool, which is crazy. And I think it's just because of the fact that I had to do cold tubs as an athlete. But it's like with a pool, it's like, well, how am I going to torture myself? Like the pool is supposed to be fun. Like heat this pool up. What y'all doing? And so, but yeah, don't dip your toe in. Don't just dip your toe in. Go ahead and put your foot in. Put your foot in. Put your foot on the gas and go. Because you will learn along the way. And if you're waiting for perfection, you're never going to get started. You're never going to get it done. If you're waiting for everything to be exactly the way that you want it to be, you won't ever do it. You won't ever do it. So release yourself from perfectionism. Release yourself from everything having to be the exact way that you want it to be. Release yourself from that and allow yourself to truly profit from what we are doing, what we're teaching, what you're learning. So that you can have an offer that really and truly sells and is a no-brainer for people. So when it comes to this offer, like what you want to do is you want to think of your offer and you want to think of it through the lens of what value am I giving to this person. Remember, I told you guys from the very beginning, what we're doing is we're adding value to people. So whatever it is that we're doing, whatever it is that we're offering, whatever it is that we have for people, we're adding value to them. That's what we're doing. We're adding value to them. So in our adding value to them, one of the things that we have to be sure of, one of the things that we have to make sure of is that in our adding value to them, that they're actually becoming a better version of themselves. They're actually getting something from us that helps them, something from us that actually benefits them, something that actually makes their life better, something that actually makes their life easier, something that makes their life, all of those things. That's what we're doing with people and for people. We're making life easier for them in a variety of different ways, which is why we have an offer. So that's what we're looking for, is we want to add value to them. Okay. What our competition does and what our competition will do is they'll compete with price. But what's going to happen for us? Because once we get this offer constructed, because of the fact that we have these testimonies and we know the result we can get people, and then we continue to tweak the offer to really make it a no-brainer offer to where people are just like, what, all of that for this? Now we can continue to enhance what it is that we're doing by now bringing on other individuals as well. So one of the things that I love about the coaching space is that you don't have to do everything yourself. You can be the quarterback. What do I mean when I say that? So if I want to coach entrepreneurs and I want to help them get done every single aspect of entrepreneurship, but I don't want to have to teach all of those aspects, one of the things that I can do is I can bring in other coaches. So I can have somebody who is the best at Facebook ads. I can have somebody who's the best at TikTok ads. I can have somebody who's the best at creating bots and automations. I can have somebody who's the best at all of those things. Now they're coming and teaching as a part of my program, but it's my program. And so now you're putting together something that literally makes it a no-brainer. You're learning from people who only do Facebook or Meta and IG ads. They only do TikTok ads. They only do automation. They only do sales, but they're on my team. So now that I have them coming in to train, guess what it did? I was charging $5,000 for all of this help that I was giving to people. Now I want to remove myself a little bit from the company, still keep everything the way that it has been, but I want to remove myself a little. And now, because I'm getting into more of the advanced things now, so please forgive me for that. But I want you guys to think of how, like, there are no limits. What I'm doing right now is I want to take the limits off of you guys' thinking. So just for a second, just allow me to go here. So now I bring these other professionals, these other experts in. Now they teach that as a part of my program. Now I may say on Monday, we're going to have calls with me. So you start the week with me and you end the week with me. So we start the week with me as far as the business week on Monday. Because any business that I create, I'm not doing anything on Sunday. Like Sunday is no, it's a no for me. Everybody has their different levels of conviction. That's one of mine. Sunday's a no. So start the week with me on a Monday. End the week with me on a Saturday. On Tuesdays, we can have like some of the automation calls as far as the automation expert teaching my community about automations and how to create them. On Wednesday, we can have the TikTok ads person expert in there, what they do. Not only teaching, but also answering questions around how to put all those things together. Same thing. You guys get the idea. Thursday, same thing. We have the Facebook person teaching, explaining, answering questions. And then come Friday, we now have like a day that's completely laid out for sales and being taught about sales, but then also not only being taught about sales, but also answering questions that people who are on the call may be facing on their actual sales calls, reviewing calls, but you're doing that with another person. Now, mind you, with every single thing that I just talked about and said and explained, I can do all of it. But when you want to remove yourself slowly from a program, not to sell the program, but to get your time back, because what we should be doing is we should be getting our time back. Because again, I can speak from my end goal and my end desire is family and then the church. Family and then the church. So what I want is I want to get as much time back so that I can spend that time with my family and so that I can give that time to the church. So I don't want to create a business that keeps me in the business all the time. For me, that would be counterproductive. For someone else who they just love entrepreneurship, just to love entrepreneurship, and they just want to be in their business all the time, okay, got it, cool. That's just a different person than me. I don't want to be in it all the time. I want to create it. I want to build the SOPs for it. I want to establish it. And I want to remove myself from all of the day-to-day things. Why? I want to do that because of the fact that that allows me the freedom to do what it is that I set out to do in the beginning, which was I want financial freedom. Why? I want financial freedom so I can spend more time with my family and so that I can give more time and resources to my church. Period. That's the goal for me. It's not money for money's sake. It's not money for stuff's sake. It's not money for any of those kind of other things. It's money for the sake of freedom, to be who I believe from scripture that the Lord has called for me to be. So with that, everybody has to know their why, which is why even when we start off before, who are you and why are you doing this? Everyone has to be able to answer that question, because if you can't answer it, don't ask it to yourself later on once you get the bag. Because once you get the bag, it's going to be too late to find yourself, because you're going to be lost. Because you weren't well defined before getting the bag, before acquiring the bag. The bag comes at a cost. And many are not privy to the cost that the bag comes with. And so they want the bag. And so guess what they do? They follow the culture and they say, chase the bag, chase the bag, chase the bag. I get my wisdom from King Solomon. King Solomon, he had all the bags, every bag imaginable. And he realized all is vanity. It's all vanity. There's nothing in it, but it feels like everything is in it if we can just get out of the situation that we were in. Like, oh, well, I was so poor. I didn't have. So if I could just have, everything changes. Nope, not if you're not solid on your why, not if you're not solid in your faith, not if your mental health isn't solid. Because all of those things, shifting sand. And all the bag is going to do, the bag is just going to show that it's been shifting sand. And that's why one of the things that I share with people that I consult with is that I'll say, sometimes people get preserved from ever getting the bag. They get preserved from that because now they're able to remain the person that they are, because they would have lost the essence of the person that they are in pursuit of the bag. And so you never want to lose yourself in pursuit of money, things, mammon. You never want to lose yourself in pursuit of things. You always want to make sure that you understand and that you know, hey, the reason why I am doing this is because, and you know your why. And that why is going to be what keeps you when things get hard, when things get difficult, when things get tough. Your why keeps you. Why am I doing this? Why am I so committed to this? Why will I not give up? Why will I not quit? Okay. So that's what we want to understand about that. And again, what are we talking about? What have we been talking about today? And what is the homework assignment for today? The homework assignment is to come up with your offer. So literally build out your offer. What is it that you're giving to people to get them to the result that we've been talking about for the past like 3 weeks? We've been talking about the result that they can get. How do we get them that result? So again, to break it down, we're taking people from A and we're getting them to B. We need to reverse engineer from B all of the steps back to 0. And that's how we can ensure that people get to where it is that we want them to go, that we promised them that we would get them to. The thing that's so beautiful about this is that you'll get repeat clients like this as well. So just because somebody bought something with you one time doesn't mean they're not going to buy it from you again. It's really important to understand what you're doing and how valuable it is. Whether that be a good, whether it be a service, whether it be your time, be the best. And you will be paid like the best. And being the best doesn't mean that you need to have the most experience. Being the best means that you're committed to doing every single thing as unto the Lord. We work mightily as unto the Lord. And so with that, do you guys, are there any questions at all from the lesson for today? Again, what we have gone over: create your offer. You're creating your offer. You're crafting your offer around what am I giving this person in order to get them over here to B. So started off at A, getting them to B. What am I giving them to get them over there? If this is a bridge, what is my scaffolding? What are my pillars underneath my bridge in order to get them to where it is that I want them to be, as far as over at B? So what are my pillars? And that's your offer. Your pillars are your offer. Your bonuses are your pillars as well. So your offer and your bonuses are your pillars that hold up the bridge that you're creating to get people from here to over here. So your offer and your bonuses are your pillars. And it's so crazy. I actually just came up in my mind at that moment because I've always seen a bridge illustration with no pillars underneath it. Um, and it's one part. So going from A to B, but then with the pillars underneath, the reason why, as far as in thinking through the pillars underneath, I feel like it's super important is because of the fact that, again, with the bridge that we're creating, the bridge needs to be supported. So your offer and your bonuses support what you're telling them that they can do and that they can accomplish in going from A to B. Okay. So, yeah, so let's make sure that we have that part and that piece. And then you guys are good to go for that. So any questions before we end for today?
Okay. Okay, so what would be a good offer for a book? So a couple months ago, I did a free webinar. I co-hosted a free webinar with someone, and as a result of that, I was asked to be a guest speaker at an event coming up this month. And so I created an offer, which is a book. Um, and I mean, before this, but what I have multiple, because what I noticed in some other people's books, like I feel like some of the questions they put in there are just like random,
Yep.
not as effective questions, but just so they can say that they put something of value in there. And so, like some of them, they're like 10 questions, but in the back, I also just have a checklist that kind of goes back to the question, say, hey, like make sure this. And I also, before even the checklist come, I put like well, it's not a Venn diagram, but it's compare and contrast because it's big on, and I use me because I'm big on modeling. My background is in applied behavior. So I understand how behavior works from a scientific um, point of view. So I utilize that, but I'm also like trauma informed. So all that's the value, like you said, that I realize that I bring, and then also my story. So the book is a lot of me modeling. So I'm using myself as the case study,
Yes.
but in the things that I had to go through to get to where I am today, which is where I talk about renewing and thrive, which is also biblical
Yes.
because that's what it's all about. And just walking people through that, the victim mentality and the prognosis.
Yes.
And when you really reached out to me that one week because you talked about, just the exploitation, and I in the victim like chapter, I talked about, I was like, brace yourselves because it's unpopular. I don't, the whole Black thing. And it was because it promotes the victim, it further promotes the victim mentality. And that's not my story. I don't subscribe to that. And it's like, I do feel convicted when I go and I want to support people because I see how they look at you and their expectations. But it's like, you guys, I wasn't greeted, you giving me the looks because I'm just walking by, but you haven't even introduced yourself. I don't even know what's going on here. And so it's big. And so, okay, getting back to the book, at the event I came up with well, I was working on a signature program, and then I kind of with it, I kind of branched off the course. So like a self-driven course for the signature program, it's like the course is included in that, but it's a group. It's also like group cohort one-to-ones, different things like that. So I'm thinking like at this event, for maybe when people purchase the book at the event, like maybe I can give them the course for free or something, or because wouldn't that be like a no-brainer or something like that?
Yes. So I like that idea, but I want you to still hold on to your course as something that people need to pay for. I
Okay.
like the idea of a sort of a prerequisite. So, say for example, with your book, what could help people to more easily make it through your book? Because if the book is being given away, or what's happening with the book? All right.
Oh, I'm selling it. I'm offering it
Okay,
as a
okay, got it.
so.
Okay. So with that, can the book, all books can, 'cause I was about to ask a question I knew the answer to. All books can be summarized into like a
Like a
PDF.
workbook.
Yes,
Okay.
like a quick workbook. So not a full workbook, because again, a full workbook, that's another bonus that you can, that is part
Okay.
of your offer. I like how you're thinking. So now what you end up having is you end up having this PDF that functions as like a one pager for your book.
Okay.
So now with this one pager, this sort of helps people to make their way through the book so that they can track their progress. So you talked about being like a behavior therapist. So even as it pertains to like kind of building new habits and building better habits, your book comes for them. Your book, if you're talking about your story and what you've gone through and how you've now adopted a new mindset, or somebody reading through that who has your old mindset, they're gonna feel like you coming for them. Watch this though. They not gonna want to make it through your book. Everything inside them is gonna fight to say, put this book down. We comfortable where we at. We like where we at. It's toxic, I know, but we like being here. So what you do is you come up with something to give away with your book that helps people to more easily make their way through the book. Like, think of like phrases that you had to constantly tell yourself when you were going through this process. Think about how often the old you thoughts would come up. Think about all the frustrations you would have. Talk them through all that. So now that I'm saying more things out loud, like this is going to be more than one page, but that's fine because
Yeah.
now remember when I told you that the bonuses end up being better than whatever the thing is? So watch this. Now this ends up being more valuable to people than your book is. Because it's the same information that's inside your book, except it's easier for them to comprehend because of the fact that it's written out in like a sentence or a paragraph. It's numbered, it's pretty, it's like a colored PDF. You can create it on Canva. You can like, there's so many, and Canva has AI now. So all you have to do is feed these things in it, and it'll make it pretty for you. Like you don't have to worry about making it pretty. You just put it in Canva AI, and it'll make it pretty for you. So now you have this quick piece, you have this quick PDF that goes along with your book that is now more valuable than your book. I'm gonna stop right there because I keep going. Like my brain, it can go forever. So you have now a PDF idea that goes along with your book that is more valuable now than your book. Use that and utilize that so that you're now able to sell more copies of your book because of the PDF that comes with it.
Okay.
That's going to help you to sell more of your book because of the fact that it's literally walking them through. It's a journey. Post-COVID, people need more help than ever, especially as it pertains to getting out of bad headspaces, getting out of a victim mentality. People need extra help. People need extra assistance. The book is going to be too hard for most people who haven't fully embraced and fully said, I'm going to commit to this. For those individuals, the book is going to be too hard. PDF, through the PDF. So that's what you do. So you go through all of those things, and then now you use that PDF alongside the book in order to be the perfect package for people to want that book and to buy that book and to be snatching copies off of you because they can see. Because now even when you talk about it, they can see where they will be in the future because of your help and your assistance in your documenting your journey. All of those things make this book invaluable now. Because the book already itself is great as it exists, but it will be too hard for people to read and continue to come back to when it keeps calling them out. But what won't have that same effect is the PDF that keeps encouraging them. So this book is calling them out, but the PDF is encouraging them. Why is the PDF encouraging, but the book isn't? Well, the book gets to the point and the goal is to transform, but the PDF is to encourage them to keep going back to that book with the same thoughts and the same words, the same phrases, the same things you had to tell yourself in order to stick to the process. Because I know you share as well, being trauma informed. Traumas are traumas. And so they affect us in different ways. And so with that, with other individuals, it is going to be really important that that PDF be right there with that book. And I guarantee I want to hear back about this. I want to hear back about this. Like I believe that PDF, especially when you describe it and you tell people the benefit of it, like it's gonna literally become a no-brainer. Hey, if I really want to change, it becomes a no-brainer for me. Get this book and this PDF that goes alongside of it and walks me through a slow read of it. That's another thing. This is my last thing on that. Make sure you add to that PDF like how long you think it should take if a person is a very slow reader who doesn't read often. How many days should it take for them to make it through your book? Because that's what your PDF is going to do. Day 1, day 2, day 3, because now you're literally guiding them through easily reading your material. Oh, I remember
I
for
just
me
thought
when I
about,
was at 10, yeah, go ahead. Yep.
I just thought about, I got, I use Speechify. Have you heard of Speechify?
Yes. Mhm.
And downloaded audio for it.
That's another thing. So I was going to save that one for a sale.
Okay.
So again, bonuses that so these would be like once you kind of put it online, these would be like your considered your order bumps. Have you heard of order bump terminology before?
No, sir.
Yep. So when somebody buys something for you, you always, always, always need to have the ability for them to buy something else on that same checkout. So your order bump could be the audio form of it. So Speechify,
Okay.
or whatever the case may be, some MP3 format of it. Another bonus that you could do is the same PDF that and again, this isn't recreating. This is going to be repurposing the same PDF that you're talking about. You could do it in video format. You could read it for them in video format as an encouragement. Your face, looking at them, talking to them eye to eye in video format. The encouragement that your PDF has. Do you see how all of this starts to come together where it's just like, no, it literally becomes a no-brainer because if you say, oh, I need accountability. Okay, got it. I got a daily video for you every single day. And now the daily video, maybe the book, you sell it for like $25. Now the daily videos, if they want to get that added onto their order, now that's $100. So now a person that would only spend $25 with you now spent $125. You see the value in that? But it's because what they're getting from you. So they're getting those things from you. And for this live event, I would say have your books, but then just make sure that you have that those PDF those words. Maybe if you want to, I don't know how professional the event or how big the event is. If the event is a big event, I would say go ahead and spend like the maybe the $50 or whatever in order to get those professionally bound together, maybe like 8 pages as far as you walking them through the book, but it's going to be worth it because again, people take us how seriously we take ourselves. So if we show up and it's just kind of like sheets of paper that maybe we kind of just put together and like, okay, maybe we have them like fold, because again, I've been there as well, which is why I can talk about it like this, like where we have the eight sheet, we just call it 8 sheets now. So it's 8 sheets for this PDF. So now it's 8 sheets folded this way, and 8 sheets this way, and 8 sheets this way, and 8 sheets this way, and you got them stacked on top of each other. And for everybody that has a book, like we'll take like 8 sheets and then stick it inside of a book, or and it's whatever the case may be. It's like that says one thing. To have these bound says another thing. So bound simply just means kind of getting it professionally spindled together. And so now you're handing a book and a manual. Now we don't call these pages anymore. We don't call it PDF anymore. We call it a manual. And a manual walks them through the book. Like this stuff excites me when I get a chance to talk about like just projects and being creative about how to really help people to get what it is that they're trying to get. Yeah. Does that make sense though?
Yes, it's gonna be a busy week.
Hey, but it's a good busy. It's a good busy.
Yeah.
Good busy.
Yes. So, would you recommend? Because what I'm seeing is I create the PDF. I can make it booklets. I know how to do all the binding because I make planners and stuff like that too. But after this, like I've been convicted to, like I said, invest in different styles of binders too, because I noticed like not everybody's for this binding. Like for me, I'm for it because I never knew about it. But because I'm the kind of person like
after a couple pages, like I just got to throw the whole note because the way my brain works, like I
Yes.
purposed it for this, but when it's not that purpose, I have the hardest time repurposing that notebook.
Yes.
It gotta go. It
Yep.
messes with me too much. But you know, like that's not the case for everybody. People, oh, the pages, it like because you can't just throw it at her. No, yeah, they will go flying if you just toss and stuff. They will. So I'm gonna get. Can you? I'm sorry, Ruth. Your gecko's got a cricket walking around like he owned the place.
Dad didn't get gecko any crickets.
Okay, well, let me get back to this because I don't understand why there's a cricket just. I don't understand. So I'm thinking of with the PDF and then a walkthrough, I'll probably create a playlist on YouTube, but make it private, but
Yes.
have the maybe like a QR code where they
Yes.
can like write under the same
Yep.
and they can just go for that day.
Yep.
Do something. Okay.
Yep. You got it. You got it. You got it. That is exactly it.